Today we are making a cherry limeade cake. It's easy, moist, flavorful, and the perfect combination of sweet and tart. We're using a special ingredient that takes the flavor over the top while making the cake ultra moist. I'm Christina from It Is a Keeper, and I share tried and true recipes that anyone can make, like this cherry limeade cake. It's so light and luscious, you're going to love it. So let me show you how to make it. So the first thing we need to do to make our cherry limeade cake is make the cake. And I love that this recipe starts with a boxed cake mix. So I'm just using a boxed white cake mix. We're gonna pour the whole thing right into our bowl. And to this, we are going to add 4 whole eggs. Now it's always best when you're baking to use room temperature eggs. They incorporate into the batter so much easier. So just take them out of the fridge a little bit before you plan to make the cake. If you don't have time and you forget, which I usually do, we're not gonna lie, you can just put them in a bowl full of warm tap water and that will bring them up to room temperature quickly. Okay, so we have our eggs. Now we're going to add some water, just room temperature water, and some vegetable oil. Then we're gonna bring in our trusty mixer and we're gonna get this all mixed up for about 2 minutes. You wanna go until it's nice and light and fluffy. Okay, so we have one more ingredient to add to our cake, and that is a box of cherry limeade gelatin. So you can find this in just a traditional big box store. You might even be able to order it online. So you're gonna pour the whole box right in there. Now we're just gonna mix it in. Okay, so our cake batter is done. We need to prepare our pan. So I'm going to make this in a bundt pan. So I'm just gonna give it a nice thick coating of nonstick cooking spray. So I really don't want my cake to stick to any of those rivets in there. And now we're going to add our cake mix into the pan. We're gonna pour just the whole thing in there. So before I bake a cake, I always like to give it a rasp on the counter, and that just brings any bubbles up to the top so we won't get bubbles in our cake. Now we're going to pop this in the oven and we're going to bake it until it is cooked through. And we're going to let it cool completely before we make the frosting. So while our cake is cooling, because it needs to cool completely, we're gonna work on the frosting for this recipe. So here I have 2 tablespoons of room temperature butter. You want it nice and soft so that it incorporates nicely into the frosting. And then we have some powdered sugar. To that, to kick up that cherry flavor, we're going to add some maraschino cherry juice. And last but not least, we're gonna bring our lime flavor back in with some lime juice. I'm just gonna give this a quick roll to loosen up those juices. And if you really wanted to take this lime flavor up another notch, you can zest the lime and put a little bit of the zest in it, because that's really where a lot of the lime flavor comes from. Next up is we are just going to mix this all together. So I want to show you the consistency of this frosting, just so you know if you have it right. See how nice that is? It's not too thick, it's not too thin. It comes off the spatula in a nice ribbony form. So this is exactly what we're looking for. Okay, let me get the cake and I'll show you how to put it all together. Okay, so our cake is cooled and I inverted it onto a plate. And now we're just going to take this, look at this luscious red. I just love it. It's so bright, it's so vibrant. We're going to put this beautiful pink frosting that we made right over the top. So I'm just going to just kind of drizzle it and let it run down the sides. So now I would probably let this set up for a little bit and really let that frosting firm up. But guys, I gotta dig in now. I'm gonna lop off a nice little chunk from the side here. Just look at that. It's so pretty. Oh, and you can really smell that cherry lime combination. Going in. It's so moist and tender, and that's what the gelatin does with the cake mix. This is delightful. Oh, I love it. It's sweet and tart all at the same time. Perfect flavor combination. You guys are going to love this. This cherry limeade cake is definitely a keeper. I just love the combination of cherry and lime. What's your favorite fruit combo? Let me know in the comments below. And if you want another incredible cake, make sure you check out my fresh strawberry poke cake. Thanks for hanging out with me today. You can get the full printable recipe in the video description below. I'll see you next time.